The waiting is the hardest part.
And every phone call makes your heart beat a little faster. They say that's not too good for a guy with a bum ticker. You wonder if this is the call you've been waiting for. Hello? Oh, hi. No, nothing yet.
Frank McCrae has been living next to a telephone and a beeper for over 3 months. It's costing him about $2,000 a month to live just 10 minutes from Stanford Hospital. The townspeople in Ohio, where he comes from, took up a collection. Without their help, without a new heart, Frank McCrae will die within the next 6 months. He won't even see his oldest child graduate from high school. There are a lot of other people like Frank who are waiting. George Brody is waiting, and so is Janet Gherkin. George is a fisherman who lost his vision in a chemical explosion. With a corneal transplant, he will see again. George says that being blind isn't so bad. Your hearing gets a lot sharper, but it's not a substitute. Not really. And the time moves slowly. Janet Gherkin has been undergoing dialysis treatments 3 times a week. It's been over 2 years since her kidneys stopped functioning. The process is emotionally and physically wearing. 1 kidney transplant was unsuccessful. She's waiting for another, but the right donor is yet to be found. Sometimes Janet will admit that all her hopes make her a little guilty, because her chance of a normal life depends on another person's tragedy. Transplant surgery is possible only when people are willing to work together in a time of crisis. The donation calls for awareness, understanding, and support by those who play the most critical roles. The process can begin months or years earlier when the choice to be a donor is made and a card is filled out. Although a donor card is not necessary, it makes the donation process easier. There are several things that must be taken care of as soon as possible. First, the family must be informed of the accident. The family arrives at the hospital. Here in the waiting room, the nurse explains the situation. The patient is slipping away. It looks hopeless.
You can see the pain in their eyes, the helplessness, the wish that they could do something, anything.
There is something the family can do, but it's considered only after the hospital has made every effort to save the patient. Only then is the issue of donation raised. In time of shock and grief, the family may not be thinking of donation, so it is usually the staff who must bring it up. Sometimes it's simply a matter of reminding the family of a commitment made by their loved one at some moment in the past. At other times, the issue has to be raised for the first time.
It's always such a delicate moment. In the beginning, I was afraid to ask, afraid of intruding. I didn't even know how to ask. And then the first time I did ask, the family was really thankful that their son could make this incredible gift.
It was such a terrible time for us. But when we realized that some good, even a little bit, could come out of this, well, Michael would have been happy to know he was helping someone live a normal life. He was that kind of a son.
Transplant surgery has become a common way to restore a person's sight, hearing, and health. The donor can be someone whose life was claimed by illness as well as accident. Most people think of single-unit donations like a heart, liver, or corneas. But there is one organization, the Northern California Transplant Bank, that coordinates transplant procedures for more than a dozen types of organs and tissues. This organization makes it possible for one donor to extend the gift of life to several recipients. The staff is on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and is reached by a single 800 number from anywhere in Northern California. For the recipients, the news comes quickly. And in the case of Frank McCrae, there isn't a moment to spare.
Hello? It is? Right now? This is it? Oh, my God. Sharon, where's my bag?
While Frank is on his way to the hospital, the surgical teams that attend to the donor and the recipient must be coordinated, especially since they are often in different cities. A new heart must be transplanted within several hours. Other organs, such as kidneys, can be stored for up to 60 hours before transplantation. Tissue, such as the tiny middle ear bones used to restore hearing, can be kept for up to 5 years. But the demand is so great that the tissues are used almost immediately after they are processed. In the days that follow, normal funeral arrangements are conducted for the donor. There's no sign of the contributions he made, but the family knows and is proud. Frank McCrae, 4 months after surgery, is rediscovering life. Life the way it used to be. Although it's the same world, it somehow looks totally different. Just to be able to walk with the dog and climb the stairs without feeling faint. You can find George Brody back on his fishing boat. He still loves watching the gulls. And Janet? Janet is still waiting. 2 patients received kidney transplants, but Janet wasn't one of them. She didn't match up. For every Frank and George who are liberated, there are 10 like Janet who continue to wait. Some will wait for years. For others, time will simply run out. The real tragedy is that each day, hundreds of potential donors in California are lost as a resource. They are lost because those involved haven't heard about the transplant bank and don't know what to do. Today, more than ever, it's important for families to talk ahead of time about donation to facilitate the process should the need ever arise. Potential donors need to know that they can choose to donate only what they wish. Completing the donor card is the first step. To be able to reach out is one of the greatest gifts. The gift of life is a gift among friends.